A whistling roar cuts through the sky, then silence, before a wall of explosions tears the earth apart. This is not a bomb dropped from above. It is artillery, Russia's most feared weapon, a storm of steel that has reshaped battlefields for nearly a century. Today, we uncover the arsenal, the doctrine, and the human cost of Russia's deadly artillery. Artillery has long been Russia's signature weapon. In World War II, the Katyusha rocket launcher became infamous, cheap, mobile, and terrifying. Its screeching salvos were nicknamed the Stalin's organ, echoing across Europe. That legacy lives on. From the BM-21 Grad, which can level an area in minutes, to the Smerch and Uragan systems with longer ranges and massive warheads, Russian rocket artillery dominates the battlefield with saturation fire. And then there are the giants, self-propelled howitzers like the Tu-S-19 MSTAS and the colossal Tu-S-7 Pion, capable of firing shells that weigh more than a man. Each system is a different kind of thunder. For Russia, artillery isn't just support, it is the battle plan. Doctrine emphasizes overwhelming firepower to crush defenses, destroy supply lines, and shatter morale before troops even move. This is the reconnaissance strike complex. Drones, satellites, and scouts find targets, and artillery rains destruction from far away. In theory, it means fewer risky frontal assaults. In reality, it often means towns reduced to rubble, and civilians caught in the storm. The Grad, a truck with 40 launch tubes that can blanket an entire grid square in seconds. The Smerch, firing rockets twice the size, reaching deep behind enemy lines. The Koalitsia SV, a newer howitzer with automated loading and extended range. And the TOS-1A, a so-called flamethrower system, firing thermobaric rockets that create devastating fireballs. Together, these weapons form layers of destruction, from short-range suppression to long-range annihilation. Throughout history, Russian artillery has changed the course of wars. Kursk, 1943, the largest tank battle in history, began with hours of Soviet artillery pounding German positions, softening defenses before the armored clash. Grozny, 1990s, artillery leveled entire city blocks, a grim reminder of how urban warfare becomes a death trap under heavy fire. Ukraine, 2022 to 2023, artillery duels turned small towns into moonscapes, with Russia firing tens of thousands of shells daily, more than most NATO countries produce in a year. Each barrage tells the same story, artillery as both sword and shield, overwhelming enemies with volume. But behind the statistics lies suffering. Artillery is often called the god of war in Russia, but for civilians, it feels more like a curse. Hospitals, schools, and neighborhoods have been destroyed by barrages. Humanitarian monitors have recorded thousands of casualties from cluster munitions and area strikes. Soldiers live in constant fear of shells they cannot see. For civilians, every thunderclap could mean the loss of home, family, or future. Western militaries often view artillery as support for precision strikes, meant to complement aircraft and guided missiles. Russia, on the other hand, makes artillery the centerpiece of warfare. Where NATO emphasizes surgical attacks, Russia believes in steel rain. Instead of one precise missile, dozens of shells flatten the target area. This brute force approach demands massive stockpiles of ammunition but delivers psychological shock. It's the difference between a scalpel and a sledgehammer. The next chapter is already being written. Russia is modernizing with Koalitsia SV howitzers boasting ranges over 40 kilometers, automated reloading, and even talk of AI-assisted targeting. Hypersonic artillery shells are in development, promising faster, more accurate strikes. Nuclear-capable artillery, like the Cold War-era Tu-S-7 Pion, still exists in Russia's arsenal, reminding the world that even small-caliber nuclear shells were once part of the playbook. Artillery may be old, but it's evolving, and in Russia, it remains central to military power. artillery is as much psychological as physical. It terrifies, it isolates, it breaks the will to resist. Russia's reliance on it has shaped wars past and present, leaving craters not only in fields and cities, but in human memory. And yet, artillery is not just Russia's story. It is a warning to all of us about how easily machines of war can outlast their creators, and how each barrage leaves consequences long after the sound fades. So when you hear thunder rolling across the horizon, remember, somewhere, that sound might not be the weather. It could be the voice of artillery, a reminder of war's most brutal truth, that steel and fire always fall hardest on the human heart. If this story gripped you, subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden weapons and human stories of modern warfare. And tell me in the comments, could you endure life under the shadow of constant artillery fire?